Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to another movie review. And this review is going to be on Pacific Rim Uprising. And the film stars John Boyega, Scott Eastwood, Caliee, Spaeny, I think that's how you pronounce her last name, Rinko, Kikuchi, Charlie Day, and Adria, Arjona, I think that's how you pronounce her last name. And this is the sequel to the first Pacific Rim, which was directed by Guillermo del Toro, which he ended up also producing and co-writing the screenplay to it. And I really loved the first Pacific Rim. I remember seeing it in theaters and really loving it, really enjoying it. Was a good time seeing the film on the big screen. Had a lot of action. I really enjoyed the Jaegers, the robots fighting, the kaijus, who are monsters, that try to take over the world. And it was just a fun time. I really enjoyed the cast for the first film, which had Charlie Hunnam, Idris Elba, Charlie Day, Ron Perlman. But it was a fun summer popcorn film, the first Pacific Rim. Fortunately, it bombed at the box office here in the U.S., but it made money overseas. It now has a cult following. So I really loved the first Pacific Rim. I know, people are mixed on it. Some people liked it, some people didn't. But this film, the sequel, Guillermo del Toro didn't come back to direct the film. He ended up only producing the film. The film was directed by Stephen S. DeKnight, which this was his directorial debut. And he did a lot of TV work. He did work on Smallville, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Angel. He was one of the executive producers for Daredevil, the Netflix series, which I enjoy, and directed a few episodes of Smallville, only 2 episodes of Smallville. So he's basically done some TV work, but this was his directorial debut. Now, what I thought of the film, I enjoyed it. I really liked the film. It's not as good as the first film. It does have its problems, like absence of characters who are from the previous film. Like, we don't know, what happened to Charlie Hunnam's character, Ron Perlman's character, those 2 characters from the first film. But the new characters here, they were decent. John Boyega, really enjoyed his character in this film. I think John Boyega is a very talented actor. Really enjoy him in the Star Wars films, The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. And there was only three characters that reprised their roles from the first film, and that was Rinko Kikuchi's character, Charlie Day's character, and I think his name is Bern Jorman, I think that's how you pronounce his name, who plays the scientist who was in the first film. So those are the only 3 people who reprised their characters from the first film. But basically what the movie's about is it's set in 2035, 10 years after the Battle of the Breach, and we see Jake Pentecost, who is played by John Boyega. He's a former Jaeger pilot. He's also the son of Stacker Pentecost, who was Idris Elba's character in the first film, who ended up sacrificing himself at the end of the first film. And we see John Boyega's character has abandoned his training, and he ends up given one last chance by his adoptive sister, Mako Mori, who's played by Rinko Kikuchi, to live up to his father's legacy and end up saving the world by getting inside, Boyega, these giant, robots, and destroying, the kaijus, who are these monsters, that are trying to, destroy the world. And pretty much that's basically what the plot to the film is about. So it's basically, the same plot of the first film, where the human characters end up fighting the kaijus, these giant monsters who are, set on destroying the world. And pretty much that was basically what, the film was, what this film's plot, was. But like I said, John Boyega, this was, his film. His character was, in the, whole entire film. Really enjoyed his character. Like I said, John Boyega is a very talented actor. This film looked more like it was geared toward for kids, because the first film to me was geared more toward the adults, more teenagers and adults. But you could tell like they set this film for kids in order for them to sell, in order for them to sell, the figures in stores, because there was a lot of figures that were released upon the film's release. But like I said, John Boyega, like I said, really enjoyed his character. I enjoyed the little girl. Her name was Amari Namani, who was played by Caliee Spaeny, I think that's how you pronounce her last name. Her character is a street orphan girl who created a Jaeger, which was cool. Charlie Day, really enjoyed his character, although there's a twist with his character towards, as the movie goes on. And so yeah, everybody in this film, was decent, in my opinion. So, well, yeah, the film came out in March of this year. Had a budget of 150 to 176 million dollars. It ended up making the box office in total 290 million dollars. And after this first film came out, there was speculation that the sequel was going to get made. It ended up getting pushed back a whole lot of times, because I heard filming was supposed to begin in 2015, and the production was halted because there was conflicts between Universal and Legendary. Universal Pictures and Legendary Pictures. If you remember the first film was released by Warner Brothers. So Legendary Pictures was bought by Universal, and so I guess that's why the conflicts were there with Universal and Legendary. Because of that, it was said that the sequels, the film sequel would, future would become unclear, and Universal then delayed the film. So this film was been delayed for quite a while after the first film came out, or after the first film made money overseas. And Del Toro, it says right here, Del Toro kept working, and by that October announced that he had presented the studio with a script and a budget. And it was announced that in February of 2016, Universal and Del Toro himself announced on Twitter that Stephen S. DeKnight would take over, directing duties for the film, and a new script was written. So, but Del Toro remained on this project as a producer. and unfortunately the script was rewritten. So we had the script that was written by Del Toro, which never got underway. We had a new script written, and then the script was rewritten again. So, but yes, I know a lot of people hated this film. There are some people who enjoyed it, although from the reviews I saw, a lot of people didn't like this film. But there were some that liked it. I mean, these films, the first film and this film, they're not perfect films. These films are not going to win, Oscars. These are fun films. These are fun. You go into the film, you turn off your brain, and you just have fun with the film. They're not, great works of, cinema art, But, these are fun films. Like I said, fun, turn off your brain type films. These are popcorn films. So, but, yeah, so Pacific Rim Uprising, I like the film. I really enjoyed it. It's not as good as the first film. I had a lot of fun with it. From, the robot battles to them fighting the kaijus. They were really entertaining. The CGI was pretty decent. And it's an enjoyable film. If you liked the first film, you would definitely like this one a lot more. Like I said, it's not, this film looked like it was more geared towards kids than the first film. But still, it was enjoyable. Although it had its problems, it was still really enjoyable, still really fun. So yeah, so if you want to see Pacific Rim Uprising, go right ahead if you enjoyed the first film. It's another fun, popcorn film. So, yes, anyways, that's it for my review of Pacific Rim Uprising. Thank you all for watching, and be sure to give this video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and until next video, I'll see you all later. Bye.